Google's a search engine, right? Google's there to help you find what you want on the internet. Well, actually, it's more than that. Facebook, all these are just down the road from here in Silicon Valley. Facebook is just a way of keeping up with your friends and sharing your information and what's happening to you, right? No, it's much more than that. So this is the Singularity University. Now let's have a look at Google. So here we are, just a few miles down the freeway at Google in Silicon Valley. And it's kind of appropriate how close it was to that NASA research area and the Singularity University. Because, as I was saying, people think of Google primarily as a search engine on the internet, which first of all gives it enormous power because of its domination of the search engine arena, because through algorithm codes and other technology and methods, they can manipulate the stories that appear most prominently on their search engine lists. So, for instance, it's possible to favor a candidate in a presidential election, and there's been a number of stories around the internet in the current election campaign between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, suggesting that their research tells them that Hillary Clinton has been emphasized, and bad things about Hillary Clinton have been suppressed in terms of their the ability to find them on Google. So the potential's there to manipulate information by its domination of the search engine potential of people going on the internet. But it's far more than that, because Google is one of the prime drivers of this transhumanist agenda, in league with an organization that it works very closely with, called DARPA. And DARPA is the technological development arm of the Pentagon. This is the organization, one of the most sinister on Earth, that develops things like death rays and ever more effective ways of killing people and controlling people with surveillance technology and mind manipulation technology. And this combination of DARPA and Google is at the forefront of pushing this transhumanist agenda, articulated by people like Ray Kurzweil and his Singularity University. And Ray Kurzweil just happens to be an executive of Google. He is called their chief futurist, or something like that. And you then start to see explanations for what apparently are strange happenings. Some years ago, a lady called Regina Duggan, who was the head and director of DARPA, suddenly made a strange career move on the face of it. She moved from DARPA and became an executive of Google. But when you do the research and you realize what's going on, you see that this apparently strange career move from the technological development arm of the Pentagon to a search engine organization was actually, in effect, an interdepartmental transfer, because Google are fundamentally involved in so many areas in this transhumanist agenda. They, for instance, took over a company called Boston Dynamics, which is one of the prime organizations, a very prominent organization in the development of machines and robots controlled by artificial intelligence. And they are under contract to DARPA. And this combination is extremely important to understand in relation to this agenda for the control of the human mind by attaching the human mind to a technological sub-reality, this cloud that they talk about. And also what's being developed is a robot army. I've been talking for years about the fact that the idea was to create a world army to impose the will of a world government. But it's actually one step further than that in terms of what I'm talking about here, because in the end, they don't want that to be an army of humans, but an army of machines controlled by artificial intelligence, where artificial intelligence is making decisions on who to kill and who not to kill, and who to bomb and who not to bomb. And this is not me surmising and pulling it out of the ether. You're seeing this in news headlines now as these technologies come to light that are high-tech, cutting-edge military technologies controlled by artificial intelligence. And of course, in Dallas a few months ago, we had the first killing by a robot, when a robot killed someone who was claimed to have been shooting at police. So we are now in a world, an arena of sci-fi, and science fiction is supposed to be a projection into the future, coming from the imagination. But actually, science fiction is now science fact, and it's all around us. And it's being driven by organizations like the Singularity University and by Google. And what Google have done in recent times is change the name of much of their company to Alphabet. There's a reason for that, I would strongly suggest. The areas that Google is involved in, all these areas I'm talking about and more, is vastly, vastly, vastly beyond just the search engine that people know about. And Google has become such a buzzword that when people see it or hear it, it registers with them. So it's like they want to avoid the situation that was gathering, where they said Google's into this transhumanist agenda, it's doing this. What, Google's doing that? And Google's doing that? What? Google? Is that Google? Google's doing that? Because the word is so known to people, you can't hide it. So what they've done is changed the name of much of the company to this nondescript, easily forgotten, in the vast majority of minds, completely unconnected to Google, this name Alphabet. So Alphabet are doing this and Alphabet are doing that. Well, who's Alphabet? This is why it's being done. And we need to watch people like Kurzweil, the Singularity University, the transhumanist agenda, and organizations like Google, like a hawk, with a telescope, because we are being manipulated into literally giving our minds away to technology controlled by artificial intelligence. And then the question comes, which is what I talk about in my events around the world, among many other things: what is this artificial intelligence? Who is asking that question? Artificial intelligence is going to control this, it's controlling that, it's controlling that. So what is it? I think when you look at that question and see what artificial intelligence really is, you realize Among the people who created this Singularity University is Ray Kurzweil, one of the great PR men for Frankenstein and the transhumanist nightmare. The whole agenda is for humanity to have technology put inside the body, inside the brain, nanotechnology in the end, which you can even breathe in. We call it smart dust and nanobots and various other names.
Let me summarize it for you. 20 years from now, we'll have nanobots. They'll go into our brain, through the capillaries, and basically connect our neocortex to synthetic neocortex in the cloud, providing extension of our neocortex.
And that this technology will connect the human mind to what I've been writing about for years and called the technological subreality. But the people like Kurzweil, who set up this Singularity University with others, they call this technological subreality the cloud.
We'll be able to extend that and think in the cloud.
And they say that humans will be connected to the cloud by 2030, which is no time from now, really. Or at least it will start then. And that we will then, this is Kurzweil's words, we will then think from the cloud. There'll be, as he puts it, gateways in the cloud to our brains.
This is a gateway to the cloud. We're going to put gateways to the cloud in our brains and have more than 300 million. Just like the cloud can give you 1,000 or 1,000,000 computers for a tenth of a second, you need another billion pattern recognizers. You'll be able to access that in the cloud. That's where we're headed.
More and more, as time passes, you will have a situation where the cloud, he says, will do more and more of human thinking until it does human thinking in its entirety.
And your thinking then will be a hybrid of your biological thinking, the 300 million neocortical modules we all have, and a certain number of neocortical modules that are simulated in the cloud. The cloud is pure information technology. It is subject to the law of accelerating returns. It is doubling in power now every year as we speak. That will continue. Ultimately, our thinking will be predominated by the synthetic neocortex. It's going to ultimately be so powerful and so smart, it'll be able to fully understand the biological part and model it and back it up.
So what we're looking at behind this whole agenda is the complete hijacking of the human conscious mind and immediate subconscious mind by those that control the cloud, and that will be artificial intelligence, which will, of course, have the agenda that it is programmed or it chooses to have, if you go really deep into this nature of what AI really is.
But the kind of dangers we've seen in futurist AI dystopian movies, where it's the AI versus a brave band of humans for control of humanity, is not realistic. The idea that we're merging with AI is not some concept in the future. It's happening now. So at that point, we are a hybrid, but the hybrid is largely becomes sort of cloud-based, as we go into the 2040s. That's really the singularity, by the middle of the 2040s.
In fact, the whole term singularity refers to a point where artificial intelligence becomes greater in thinking potential than human consciousness, the human conscious mind. And they're being open about it because they're trying to sell it as making people superhuman. We are seeing this constant sales pitch that by being connected to this cloud, this Wi-Fi sub-reality technological cloud, we will be able to do things and understand things that the human mind cannot.
And we'll be more intelligent and able to actually think in a greater number of hierarchies. It's going to ultimately be so powerful and so smart, and that will be an enabling factor to create more profound music, to be funnier, to be more artistic, to basically enhance the qualities of humanity that we value.
And so what they're saying is, connect your brain, your mind, to this technological cloud, and you will be superhuman. You will be able to think like the machines can, like the AI can. Of course, it's complete nonsense, because the opposite is the case. It's not about making people superhuman. It's about making them subhuman. It's about the end of humanity as we know it, in terms of anything, even approaching free thought and free perception. Because perceptions will be coming from the cloud to the conscious mind. And the conscious mind will think, I'm having a thought. I'm going to do this. I agree with that. I'm going to support that. I'm going to oppose that. I believe this. But actually it won't be the human mind reaching those conclusions. It will be impulses from the cloud.
They quickly realized they had found the points in her neocortex that detect humor, and she just found everything hilarious whenever they stimulated these points.
That is the entire agenda of this transhumanist nightmare, which is unfolding around us, and which the Singularity University here is pushing and pushing and pushing, and Kurzweil and co are pushing and pushing and pushing. The complete takeover of human thought, and through that human emotion. And what is happening is we're being taken down that road, step by step, in a very coordinated way, which appears random to most people. And it goes like this. First you get people addicted to technology they can hold. Let's call it holdables. The smartphones, the tablets, etc. And of course, look around you in any group of people anywhere in the world. Look at so many young people when you see them in groups. And the rest of the world doesn't exist much of the time. Only the screen of the smartphone exists. As the human mind becomes more and more attached in terms of focus and focus of attention upon, in effect, an expression of the cloud.
Batteries run out.
And then the next stage, and we're well into that, has been to get technology on the body, because that's, of course, the next step to getting in the body. And so we have this term now, wearables. These are your smartwatches, your Bluetooth, your Google Glass, etc. So get the technology now out of the hand and onto the body in a way where you actually wear it through the day. And what we're already seeing is the next stage, and the stage they've been manipulating humanity into from the start, and that is implantables, where technology is put inside the body.
More Swedes are getting chipped every day. Implanting parties are the latest trend in Stockholm. The operation costs about €150, and it's no more painful than having your ears pierced. They see only advantages to it. Very few worry their data could be misused. They have great confidence in their government and authorities.
Nothing to hide.